In this world. A popular video game and its elements have been brought into the real world by falling from the sky. That means the thought of wanting to motorboat the honkers of your favorite video game character like a speedboat is no longer just achievable through your dreams. However, as much as raining titties sound like sunshine and rainbows, it isn't the case because monsters have also entered the real world. But luckily, it's just an apocalyptic game, and you could use the game's equipment to beat the monsters. And it isn't the rumbling simulator or a yandere girl wants to chew your boner type of game. Then there's our protagonist who gets chosen as the savior of this apocalyptic game, which is why the girls from the game want to have his semen so they can shoot out more heroes. That's the introduction to this manhwa called I Became the Target of the Harem in Another World. Now, to be honest, I was scrolling through the story, and once I saw these mommies, I knew it would be illegal for me not to make a video on it. Over the past few days, a mysterious game called Post-Apocalyptic suddenly became popular, and gamers are popping boners and touching asses due to how enjoyable the game is. But the developer is still unknown, almost like the game just popped out of thin air. However, our protagonist is too cool for video games, and would rather do other productive, non-degenerate things like playing with his favorite doll. He lays down on his bed with a rather cultured body pillow and started snoozing, but he's suddenly woken up by a girl sitting on top of him. Our boy wonders if this is a dream. However, he feels a monster clamping down on his eggplant, causing him to wake up. And that's when he realized. He loves boobs. He quickly pushes her away, asking what in the dried balls is going on. The girl is bummed out since she wanted to unleash more moves. She introduces herself as Ren and apologizes for trying to snap his branch off with her hydraulic cooter grip. She crawls up close to him, and her eyes widen as she looks out the window. Suddenly, a werewolf breaks in, swinging his meat around with zero respect, but immediately gets cooked into a perfect medium rare. Our boy couldn't process the situation, but what he could process is the fact that there's a behemoth of a hole in his apartment, and he already spent all his money on rubber dolls and body pillows. Ren says that before she completes her gathering, no one can think of harming our boy. Not even plucking his pubes would she let that slide. Our boy looks down his apartment and sees more werewolves climbing up the building. Ren jumps out, letting him know she'll burn them to ashes and will continue where they left off until he comes ashes. She unleashes more anime moves, and our boy gets frustrated with what's going on. Then he hears the TV talking about how the game he developed broke through the dimensional wall, and the TV asks if he's ready. Our boy picks up his chair, getting ready to break his possessed TV. However, it explains that it's the creator of the famous apocalyptic game, and its name is Wangxiang. Our boy asks if all these werewolves and milk bazookas floating outside are his doings. Wangxiang explains that playing games on the phone is no good. So that's why he randomly decides to cause an apocalypse in the real world. The woman and werewolves are all characters from the video game, and they're here to look for him. Our boy wonders why, because he's never touched that ass grease of a game. Wangxiang explains he was looking for a ruler, the one above all for his video game, and while browsing through the internet, he accidentally came across a naked picture of him posted by his mom on Facebook, and decided to use that as the one above all. So, he's basically the in-game Jesus, which is why the girl is here looking for help from him, and since only video game characters can enter the real world, and he can't enter the game world. Ren's purpose is to complete a heist and rob his sperm, so she can go back to the game world and give birth to baby Jesus. Our boy tears up at such a generational and life-enlightening concept, and asks when are the other girls coming. He performs some exercises trying to increase that VO2 max so he can get the infinite stamina glitch. However, Wangxiang tells him to calm down because they only need one descendant. Therefore, no matter who takes away your first time, in the end, either his top head will be cut off or his bottom head will be cut off, Wangxiang said. Our boy said he can lick his chocolate starfish clean because he ain't trying to get killed by a face on a screen, and he'll take this chance to make a run for it. However, as he looks outside, he sees numerous portals opening from the sky. The portal starts unleashing its strong stream of piss, and Wangxiang explains that his video game has broken through the dimensional wall. Gone are the days of VR headsets, fighting monsters and squeezing your waifu's virtual tits because all of them are coming to reality. Our boy realizes running away isn't ideal if the entire world is after him. Then he looks out and notices that Ren is in complete shambles. He asks Wanxiang to at least give him some cheat skills like he's the protagonist. Wanxiang tells him he'll grant him some isekai protagonist cheat skills. However, he has to make him feel good and he'll gain points to draw cards and earn random abilities. Our boy gets confused, thinking he'll need to start fingering the DVD player, but Wanxiang said his ungodly position earlier with Ren was truly brilliant and gave him 30 points. Now he can draw one of the 3 cards. Red represents skill, blue represents equipment, and gold represents meds. Our boy immediately picks skill and gains the Flame Blast Fist, and this lasts for 5 minutes. Then he obtains his own Omnitrix with the Flame Fist power in it, and he activates his skill. Meanwhile, Ren is out here getting bodied by a werewolf. Claws are scratching, clothes are ripping, and my pants are tightening. The werewolf charges up its final attack to finish her off, and she's already saying goodbye to her dad and apologizing for not being able to bring back the Savior's child, and promises to repay him in her next life. But in a bright flame, our boy ran down the building and jumped straight at the werewolf, getting ready to blast its head off, and our boy's doing all this with flip-flops. Then bam! He fed that werewolf a knuckle sandwich, crashing into the floor with his body upside down and legs dangling in defeat. Ren couldn't believe someone would be able to accomplish such feat, and when notices he did all this while wearing flip-flops, she was instantly erected. However, more werewolves runs in getting ready to jump him, but our boy activates his anti-getting jumped technique and blasted them away. Then he continues charging at the main werewolf to finish him off. Meanwhile, the guy is still scratching his neck, wondering what planet he's on. Our boy lands a clean body shot, finally knocking it down, and he gains 50 experience points from that, and a status screen appears in front of him, and it shows him his stats, and we find out that our boy's name is Han. Wanxiang asks if his asshole is now being blasted and gaped with his peak video game. However, Han doesn't think that, and Ren asks if they can now continue where they left off. Our boy looks at her, and as much as he wants to drop his pants and take her on a quick trip to Pound Town, he remembers that they'll just kill him after robbing his sperm bank. So he throws away Thor's hammer and lets her know he wants to go get some snacks. He opens the door and tells her to wait for him, but is instantly pushed to the ground and gets stepped on. He sees an absolute mommy telling him she's carrying out a task and tells him to cooperate. She explains that they suspect an abnormal intruder in his house. Her name is Lin Fei, and she's a special duty officer. And she can crush my balls. She commands her people to enter his house, and I would do unspeakable, unimaginable things to be in our boy's place. Mommy and her people start searching the apartment. Meanwhile, Han wonders if Ren just pulled a Houdini on them. He tells Lin that he's a respectful, penis-wielding human of society, and would rather rubs his asshole on sandpaper than commit any crime. Suddenly, Mommy bends over and oh my good God, she has the entire bakery industry behind her. Wanxiang makes a perverted face, and seeing this leads our boy's intrusive thoughts to win, and he gave it a mean slap of death. Smoke starts coming out of her cheeks, and he instantly apologizes for it. Lin slowly turns around and deemed this man as a major threat to society, and will be taken in for further interrogation. Our boy gets put into her car for the crime of smacking the shit out of her ass. He claims that he's innocent. However, after that slap, he's far from innocent. Suddenly, a place nearby explodes, and we got Walmart Doc Ock robbing a place. And there's all sorts of other monsters like the Incredible Bulk and these other dudes. Lin contacts her team for assistance and to stop the robbers, and she thinks these monsters deserve an explosive butt plug stick so far up their anus it explodes their heads, rather than being arrested. They arrive at the Special Services headquarters, and our boy is being put on the hot seat, getting ready to play 21 questions. Then Wanxiang appears on a screen, explaining how disappointed he is, because with his skills, he would have been able to wipe those robbers with ease. Han blames the machine for picking an image of him from his mom's Facebook. Lin explains that locking him up all alone would break his mind real quick. However, our boy's balls aren't even quivering as he argues with the security camera. Lin realizes she underestimated him, and his psychological quality might be on a whole other level. But as she's about to enter the room, some dude stops her and tries getting her to join him on a date. However, Lin tells the guy whose name is Tang to stick his smegma-coated wiener down a meat grinder 'cause she'd rather suck fart out of a goat's ass than go on a date with him. Then she slams the door. Other hot officers laugh at him, and Tang starts twitching like he's about to go on a rampage. Lin enters the interrogation room and asks, why did the first invasion happen at his place? Our boy tries acting clueless, but she tells him that she knows his wall was broken by an external force. So what exactly was after him? Our boy stutters as he tries to speak, and I'm stuttering as I try to script. Then, on a bloody staircase, we see two girls lying lifeless as Tang walks down the stairs. Turns out the guy also has his own Omnitrix. He's in the evidence room with another officer, and when he finally gets the information he needs on where to find certain files, he fully penetrates the poor soul with his hand. Other officers are shocked to see the scene at the staircase and immediately reports the situation to the director named Lin Wanshan, that Tang killed his colleagues. Then another officer came revealing they found Tang's location. The director got up like he was about to get a cutscene, and a health bar was about to appear and says that he'll rip out Tang's foreskin and feed it to him as he shoves a firecracker down his dick hole. The SWAT team pulls up to the evidence room, locked and loaded. They use their battering ram to break down the door. However, the room explodes, sending them flying. And Tang walks out perfectly fine. But there's no way he's bulletproof as the SWAT team sprays him down. However, that's where they're wrong because this guy got that nanotech hidden between his ass cheeks. The SWAT resorts to throwing out some type of grenade which sprays out liquid nitrogen and freezing him in place. But the guy could just burn it all down with his flames. Seeing this, the director yells at everyone to evacuate, and he charges in toward Tang. The guy charges up his fist to go up against the old man. Their fist collides, causing a huge spark and hitting everyone around the area. Meanwhile, Lin is still trying to suffocate our boy with her lactation stations, telling him to confess. Now this is another "it should have been me" position. Suddenly the alarm blares, causing her to see what's going on in the outside world, and she hears that Tang has put on his vibranium suit. Then the guy breaks through the upper floor. Lin quickly pulls out her gun, but she gets sent flying into the interrogation room. Tang realizes a plate of diarrhea has more riz than him, so he has to force her to date him. Lin asks for help. However, Han doesn't want any part in this, and tries sneaking away like he's in an episode of Tom and Jerry. Tang tells our boy to hurry and get out, but Wanxiang, who although is an AI, somehow has bigger balls than our boy and yells at Tang for attacking a girl. Tang gets pissed, but Han says he wasn't the one speaking, and it's actually the security camera. Then Wanxiang let it rips and goes off on Tang, calling him a limped micro-penis waste of oxygen smeared in ass grease, and he should be reincarnated into a toilet bowl because he deserves nothing but to eat shit. Tang popped a blood vessel hearing this, and Han tries to explain the situation. But the guy charges at him, turning his arm into metal like Kevin from Ben 10. Our boy quickly draws a skill card, and he got another fire-based skill that lasts for 10 minutes. He uses it, causing a huge explosion. However, it didn't really do much to Tang. He realizes Han was just pretending to be weak, and he summons some cosmic stuff to chase after the two. Meanwhile, Han and Lin are able to escape into a temporary safe place. Wanxiang spits on our boy for being a coward. However, he lets him know that the guy had a bunch of skills in his Omnitrix. So even if heaven and earth collide and pussies fall from the sky, there's not a single chance in the universe he beats that guy. Lin is shocked to see a face that was drawn in 10 seconds onto a computer screen is talking to him. So our boy explains that this guy caused everything and brought the game world into reality. Meanwhile, he's as innocent as a baby in a shit-filled diaper. Lin now realizes Tang must have gotten all the equipment that the special service recovered to be so powerful. Then she tells him she'll go find her dad so he can plop his anus on his face. However, Wanxiang had to show up with the disrespect and ask if she's referring to this half-cooked man. Lin is brought to tears to see her dad in that state. And a three-headed wolf is also coming after them. So she asks our boy to please save her dad. Then Wanxiang tells them to hurry up and make Han pop a raging boner so he can be rewarded with more points. Lin pulls up her pants, showing a bit of her thighs, and I already folded. However, Wanxiang isn't satisfied and says that maybe she just isn't attractive for Han. So she locks in and got straight to business because back in the day she used to be referred to as the goddess. And our boy's third eye has been open as he can now see the strings and threads that's holding the universe together. Lin asks if that's enough, and the off-screen action was extremely satisfying for Wan Xiang. Lin quickly gets up and our boy apologizes for having her do all that. However, those cheeks were so divine, he gained 200 experience points, and is now level 3, and with this, he has a higher chance of getting high-level rewards. Then the wolf starts banging on their door, so he has to quickly make his decision. But he said fuck all that, and picks all 3 cards. He obtains S-level equipment that has unlimited use, and an armor starts forming around his arm. He also gains some B-level meds and C-level earth attack. The wolf breaks into the room and immediately went flying towards Lin, but our boy jumps in with his Doom Fist gloves and smashes the wolf from above, causing the attack to be registered on the Richter scale. Tang gets shocked as the building behind him explodes. He realizes Han is pretty strong and runs in to see it for himself. Our boy is surprised his fist just annihilated the wolf in one hit. Wang Xiang explains that the equipment he has is one of the only 4 S-level equipment, and it has 5 pieces, and if he collects all of them, it'll be a SSS-level armor. Our boy lubed up his asshole and glazes Wang Xiang, so he tells Han that he'll rig the system to give him the best rewards from those draws. Han grabs Lin's hand and suggests they save everyone, and he realizes glazing the system is worth it because now he's controlling it. Suddenly an attack flies at him, but luckily he's able to block it. Tang suggests they form an alliance cause together they can take over the world. However, he tells Tang to go deep-throat a 1,000-degree pole instead. Hearing this, Tang throws a couple rocks at him, so he quickly tells Lin to go save the others while he busts some ass. Our boy breaks those rocks with ease, but Tang immediately follows it up with a left punch. Our boy blocks it and started freezing his arm, stopping his movement. Tang gets stunned because this isn't part of the script. Then the ice starts cracking and BAM! Full fist, elbow deep up his ass. Tang gets sent flying, breaking through the building. Even Han is shocked his noodle arm is able to generate that much power, and he got down on his knees and gave the AI more sloppy tops. But suddenly someone grabs his shoulder and turns out it's Lin's dad getting pissed he got cooked like a rotisserie chicken. Lin came sprinting looking for her dad, but the nurse explains that he got up and went to look for Tang. Meanwhile, our boy is dodging these grenade fists. He wonders why in God's name is Lin Fei's dad attacking him. Lin's dad calls him Tang and swings a left punch all the way from Mars. Our boy decides to make a run for it, but luckily Lin Fei comes in time to stop her dad. Her dad calms down and is being treated by the nurses. Now they had no reason to make the nurses such baddies only for them to appear for one panel. And as of now, they still have no information on where Tang is. Lin Fei's dad asks our boy to show him the system about this post-apocalyptic game. However, Wang Xiang isn't coming out. But Fei can verify that our boy isn't going schizo and the computer was actually talking. Fei's dad starts worrying because Tang was only able to get a few items and is able to cause this much damage, and they still don't know how many exist in society. So he says that Fei will now be the leader of the special operation, and Han will undergo combat training and assist Fei. Our boy tries to run away from the situation, but Fei's dad appears behind him, reminding him he made a glory hole for Titans in his building, and he also felt the warmth of his daughter's milkers in his mouth. The two got back to Han's apartment, and our boy is bummed out that he now somehow owes the guy for saving his daughter. But Fei asks for him to help her, cause after all he did experience something holy back in that room. Our boy wonders why is she pouting all of a sudden, when before she was being so assertive. He walks into his house and she tells him to pack up and follow her cause Tang will definitely pull up to this place. However, our boy's greeted with a nice pair of cheeks, and Ren lets him know she'll wash away all his tiredness. Fei witnesses this and wonders what's going on. They arrived at the safe house arranged by the special service, and turns out Ren is also sticking with them, but Fei says she'll be sleeping in the garage. Han tells her to calm down because she can kick some mean asses, so it's nice to have her help them. Hearing this, Fei walks off angrily, telling them to do whatever they want. Ren suggests they head over to his room and start smashing pissers. However, our boy is already dried up today and thinks they should go to their own rooms, and this leads to Ren thinking he doesn't like her anymore. But he explains he simply wanted some rest. Han walks into his room and Wan Xiang tells him if he were to get ganked by those girls all at once, then he'll get even more points. But with a menacing face, he tells Wanxiang that he now knows why he wants him to do such ungodly stuff, and it's simply because he doesn't have a wiener to do so. The system explains he created the game thinking it's no different from the real world. However, he realized that an important factor in happiness was missing, which is gland-to-gland combat. But he wasn't able to bring that concept to the game because he's a bigger virgin than a nun, which is why he has to observe our boy to gather data. So Han lets him know that ungodly sites do exist for free on the internet. However, that won't do because he could actually feel what the game character he created are feeling. So basically, if our boy claps Ren, then the system too is getting clapped by him. However, the world is straight in the dumpster right now because of him. So he should shut down those piss portals from the sky. But the twist is, he can't because he messed up the code causing the two worlds to connect, and he can no longer close those portals. He also doesn't know when will it begin next. Han gets pissed because he's about to end both worlds because he wanted to suckle on some titties, but he assures him that he can fix it as long as he gathers enough data. Han lays on his bed in dissatisfaction as he went to sleep. He woke up the next morning and is shocked to find out his clothes disappeared. Then he looks to his left and spots Ren on his bed. He quickly tucks away his gummy worm and asks how did she get in because he's pretty sure he locked the door, but she explains she simply pushed it open. Now that's a weird way to say I used an explosive axe. However, she assures him that his seeds are still well intact, stored at the bottom of his balls, because she wants him to rest up to ensure the quality of his semen and make sure she doesn't accidentally give birth to a koala. Then she gets up and says she'll make him breakfast. However, our boy is still concerned and thinks he gotta be more careful. He came down the stairs and contacted some people asking for a vault so he could sleep in and make sure it's antimatter explosion-proof. Han looks into the kitchen and sees Ren is about to murder an orphan tiger whose parents got divorced because of him, so he quickly tells her to return the tiger back to the zoo. Then a hand stops his door from closing, and turns out it's another absolute mommy asking for him. Our boy is stunned, and she pulls out her sword telling him her name is Leo, and she tells him not to worry because she just wants to borrow something from him. She explains she's from the Northern Wind Empire. However, the demons attacked her city half a year ago, burning it straight to the ground. So now she's on her revenge arc and is finding ways to get rid of demons. And turns out the only hope is to retrieve the sword that once conquered the land and establish the Northern Wind Empire again, and that person is his great-great-great-grandfather. Our boy is not amused to hear this as he's tied to a chair, and she tells him that by claiming the bloodline of his family, she'll be able to restore her kingdom. Han tells her he can give it as long as she promises to go back. She says that the demons are also looking for him, so after it's done, she'll send him on his way. Leo pulls out her swords and uses her sword technique, strip. Han's clothes flew off with ease, and once she sees the legendary shaft, she instantly knew why they called his ancestors the Guardian Dragon General, because that thing looks like it breathes fire. She instantly opens the ceremony with a glamorous double front flip onto the double stroke and twist. She starts blushing at the sequence, but she won't yield, and is about to go absolutely bonkers. However, she gets interrupted by Lin holding her at gunpoint, asking what are the two doing. "Is this your consort?" "You're too late, I already succeeded," said Leo. Lin yells at our boy because there's monsters blasting explosives in the outside world. Meanwhile, he's blasting yogurt shots in her inside world. Then our boy realizes that if Leo has appeared, it means that the sky is unleashing another wave of piss. He quickly asks for an update on the situation, and Lin explains that they're currently recovering the descended items, but a small squad is in trouble, and the director wants them there to rescue them. However, Leo won't allow it until he gives her his thick, creamy sauce. So our boy tells her the dragon doesn't shoot flames unless it wants to, so she can try to milk him all she wants, but it'll be like milking a man's nipples. Leo is shocked, because in the novels she reads most of them last half a minute, so in the end she gave up and said she'll wait until the time comes. Then Han came up with the condition that he'll give her a chance as long as she stays to help him. Leo agrees and tells him to give her the list, and she'll turn into Agent 47 in a single snap. 20 minutes ago, the squad they're supposed to rescue just got wiped, and Tang picks up the walkie-talkie and calls for backup on himself, which led to the deployment of Lin Fei as reinforcement. Our boy zooms out of the house, and Lin is speeding down the lane while telling our boy to shut up and let her cook. She also has the special support team right behind her. Lin commands them to focus on the rescue rather than the boss fight. Suddenly, lasers start flying toward their cars, but luckily Han was able to avoid it. However, for the background characters whose faces got copied and pasted, didn't have the author on their side and ended up swallowing the lasers and exploding right after. Lin is shocked to see her support team explode just like that. But that's not it, because up ahead is even scarier. It's a squad of bald men with guns. Lin tells them to spread out, and I think she must have forgotten her entire crew exploded. The guys charged up their rifle, but suddenly their guns get chopped off and their heads starts popping. It's Leo, and she took care of business. Our boy also started gaining experience points because Leo is now considered his subordinate. Han gets happy because he can just be on his ass all day as these girls farm golds and levels for him. Suddenly they hear a sound coming from behind, and they got a giant robotic snake popping out of the ground. Their faces dropped, and Lin steps on the pedal as they try to escape from the giant snake that broke through from the Transformer universe. Our boy decides to be useful and uses his earth-binding skill, wrapping the snake up. However, it broke through with ease. Our boy realizes he gotta put back on his Doomfist gloves and hit it with a clean 1-2 into the atom double uppercut, but Leo lands on the hood of the car and lets him know he ain't built for that type of enemy just yet, and he'll just be turned into a pancake. However, what our boy heard was, "Be a good boy and stay in that seat for mommy." Then Leo stands up and says she'll handle the snake while they do their thing, and she lunges toward the boss with anime music playing in the background. Our boy realizes he can't just sit here and be a passenger princess, so he picks the skill card hoping for an ability that one-shots the snake. However, he got scammed and lost 50 points for some kind words. Then an arrow flies in and sticks to the door of their car. The door explodes off, but luckily Lin is riding our boy, so she was perfectly fine. Then suddenly a bunch of speed bumps spawns in for maximum fan service as the car rocks back and forth, turning our boy into the iVibrator Pro Max. And she says she didn't know he had a gun and it's poking her really hard. So our boy lets her know he sure has a gun, but his just doesn't shoot bullets. Wang Xiang is extremely satisfied to witness this unholy act, and our boy realizes there's a familiar face standing in front of their car. It's Tang holding onto the executioner's blade, getting ready to swing it. Our boy quickly draws a card because there's no dodging it. Tang sends a cleave toward the car and completely splitting the car in half, and it follows with an explosion for extra aura. However, explosions are never real in these types of stories, because as the smoke begins to fade, our boy just walks out wearing that full diamond Minecraft armor. And seeing how hard our boy's Minecraft drip is, Lin also started dripping real hard. Tang continues swinging his sword around, trying to slice our boy up. Han tells Lin to stay back as he charges toward the attacks and activates his shield, completely eating up all these attacks like a bowl of cereal. Tang realizes fighting this guy is anything but fair, so he resorts to getting help from his second squad of people with guns. But this time, they got hair. Lin notices that those are the guys with the explosive arrows, and wonders how did Tang manage to gather all these people. The squad rains fire on our boy, but he just continues eating them up. Tang thinks he has it down and will get his victory, but Han just keeps on advancing and moving forward, letting him know that those just tickles. Tang realizes our boy is trying to get close to him and redirect the firepower onto him, but he'll just counter that by moving his feet and running away. However, our boy counters the counter by rooting his feet, not giving him the chance to move. Our boy sticks out his hairy chest, knowing he has him cornered, and continues approaching him. So Tang starts breaking sweats, yelling at his crew to stop firing. Help! But they can't really hear him when their ears are ringing from all these explosives, so they wonder why don't he just run out of there. Then these guys, who all collectively share 1.5 brain cells, came to the conclusion that Tang is using himself as bait, so they'll make sure to rain fire and not let down their guildmaster. They unleashed their full power and continuously showered Han with explosives. Tang realizes he's done for and will soon be reincarnated, as Han is now at point-blank range. Suddenly a bird flies in and spits flame on all the soldiers. It's Ren, and she's here to assist them, giving our boy the opportunity to attack. Afro Tang requests a timeout because he can't find his defense emblem, but our boy doesn't give a fuck about that. and blasted a hole straight through his chest, having him join the anime donut cult. Meanwhile, a guy on some rooftop with a telescope used to look into the Milky Way, reports to a girl that the Guildmaster Tang just got turned into a donut. The girl tells him that that's good, because this means that Han is more worthy to be recruited, and tells the guy to recruit him into the guild at all cost. The girl's name is Bao Xiangji, and she's the Ice Frost Silver Moon Guild president. And then if you scroll down a bit further, you'll reach extreme divine levels of enlightenment.